My 15M stepmom grounded me because I slept in the same bed as my stepsister. 11F. My parents are divorced and I live with my dad who remarried. My stepmom has a daughter who's 11 this year. I'm 15. Yesterday my stepsister came into my room in the middle of the night because she had a nightmare and she was scared to be left alone in her room. So I told her that she could sleep in my room and that's what she did. We were laying side by side but we didn't touch each other, to be clear. In the morning my stepmom came into my room and she saw us sleeping in the same bed and she completely lost her mind. She started yelling at me and at the same time asking my stepsister if I touched her inappropriately. My stepsister started crying because she got scared and that's probably why my stepmom assumed I sexually assaulted her, so she got even more hysterical. I told her that I didn't touch her at all and that she only slept beside me because she had a nightmare, but my stepmom said I was disgusting for coming up with excuses and that I would be grounded until she figures out what to do next. After my stepsister calmed down she confirmed my story and my stepmom said that she'd still be grounding me because it was still inappropriate. Think she doesn't believe our story. My stepmom wouldn't listen to anything I say. She told my dad about this and my dad said that he didn't see what was wrong with us sleeping in the same bed for one night and they got into a huge fight. At the end of the day I'm still grounded and my stepmom's ignoring me, so yeah, she's still mad. I'd what to do now. I'm scared she'll call the police or something. I don't know. I know my stepsister will say I didn't do anything to her, but still, I don't want to get into any trouble or have any complications. Any advice? Question mark. Talk to your dad. Tell him it makes you uncomfortable that your stepmom is accusing you of this. Explain what happened and ask what you should do the next time it happens. I would talk to him in private, not around your stepmom. So sorry for you. You did nothing wrong in this situation. Try to talk with your dad. Tell your father that grounding is a tiny symbol of what's at play. He brought someone into your home that views you as a sex offender. He placed her in a position of authority over you. She has the power to ruin your life. You're now living in well-founded fear. The quality of your home life has tanked. He harmed you profoundly. Speak to your school counselor about strategies for protecting yourself. Confide in your grandparents and mother's side if they are trustworthy. Preempt escalation and further accusations. You shouldn't have to navigate this. You sound like a conscientious kid. Sorry, dude. So I am your stepmom's age and I have a very young child as well as a stepchild who is right at the age where they're discovering and starting to explore their sexuality. As I parent I have to be aware of the fact that most sexual abuse of minors occurs in the home, or originates from people they are familiar with. I also have to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and not see shadows where they don't exist. It's a really fine and difficult line to walk and you have to face extremely uncomfortable things to strike the right balance. You have to do a lot of delicate work with young children so that they're empowered to come to you with problems, yet avoid clouding their childhood with suspicions. From your stepmother's reaction it may very well be that sexual abuse happened to her when she was her daughter's age. Or it may be that she hasn't yet done the mental work to both be aware of the danger of inter-family sexual abuse and also be committed to perceiving everyone as innocent until given cause to think otherwise. My advice to you is to continue talking to your father, and continue to act normal, responsible, and as mature as possible since your stepmom is not currently able, for any number of valid reasons, to face this maturely. I ran this situation by my husband, and he also adds that unfortunately, and especially now that you're confronted with your stepmom's mindset, you need to be ruthless in protecting yourself from any appearance of impropriety. It may feel like you're being heartless toward your stepsister, but you need to put yourself and your safety from accusations at the forefront of your behavior. What a severe reaction. In all honesty, your stepmom could have been sexually abused or had similar trauma as a child. She seems very triggered. Talk to your father, and if your mom is in your life, notify her too, because you need someone to advocate for you and ensure you're not put in this predicament again. Looking at this from a different perspective, I was touched inappropriately as a young girl while sharing a bed with my older stepsister and another time by a friend during a slumber party. I'm much older now and don't want my daughter sharing a bed with anyone, not friends, cousins, etc. Sometimes we are humans with baggage and overreact to situations because of our own painful experiences. I'm sorry you were caught in the middle of this by simply trying to be kind to a scared younger child. Did my brother groom his daughter, and if so, what can I do about it? Please help me Reddit. I found out today that my 40-year-old brother is in a relationship with the girl he's been raising since she was 5 years old. About 15 years ago my brother met a single mother of a 5-year-old girl and started dating her. A few months after that this woman died, leaving behind her little girl with no father and no other family for her to go to. My brother cared about this little girl already and made the decision to adopt her. I don't have a very close relationship with my brother because he moved out before I was born. I'm 21 now, only a year older than his daughter, but I do see him every now and then. Every time I saw them growing up they seemed to have a very normal father-daughter relationship. The only sign I see looking back that may have indicated something inappropriate was how overprotective he was of her when she was a teenager. I thought it was normal, stereotypical father doesn't want his baby dating, but I think now he may have actually been jealous. Today my brother invited me over, and when I got there he confessed that he and his daughter are in love and have been dating for the past 2 years and wanted the blessing of the family and decided to start by telling me first. I'll have to admit I reacted very badly at first. I yelled at him, called him a pedophile, accused him of grooming her and taking away her innocence. But after I calmed down enough to hear him out, he told me the whole story. He told me he noticed the boat a day I fucked up a woman she was becoming when she was about 16 years old and started feeling attracted to her but kept it to himself. On the night of her 18th birthday she apparently told him she noticed the way he looks at her and that she wanted him to, and one thing led to another and they hooked up that night. I'm at a loss on what to do now. I just feel sick to my stomach thinking about all the possibilities. I don't even know if his story is true. But at the same time they're both two consenting adults now, and both of them told me separately that they're in love with each other and there's nothing I can do about it. I just don't ever see myself being able to support their relationship. What now? On the night of her 18th birthday she apparently told him she noticed the way he looks at her. She was conscious of him sexualizing her from the time she was 16. That is absolutely grooming. I also want you to reflect on the reality that he became her guardian father when she was 5. In 15 years he failed to form a proper parent bond with her despite being the sole caregiver, which is not only disappointing but deeply concerning. He considered her a viable sexual target when she was a minor, and you are forced to reframe all of their interactions even long prior to that as a result. That poor girl. She has had her life ruined by a guy who is the worst kind of predator, the kind that doesn't think they are. The social backlash will be pretty major. I would encourage your entire family to try and get her into therapy. That's not in love. He's groomed her for 13 goddamn years. That's disgusting. Both a day I fucked up a woman she was becoming when she was 16. She was still a minor, and that is creepy as fuck. Her noticing the way he looks at her is even worse. He's not even trying to hide it because he's normalized it for her. Sorry, but your brother is a pedophile. I don't want to hear any of that, but she was 18 bullshit. He literally waited 13 years to fuck the girl he's supposed to take care of. He's a piece of shit. If you're in the US that's a federal offense. Don't know about any other countries though. Please report this perverted fuck to the police. I doubt he even waited, tbh. Sounds sus that he mentioned everything happened on her 18th b-day. So either that's a lie to cover it up and make it sound magical and legal, or he legit groomed her till the day she was 18, waiting so he couldn't be done for sex with a minor, and he planned it for many years and finally got his prey. He absolutely groomed her. This is horrifying. Try to get that girl some resources. Your brother should be reported to CPS only to ensure that he can't adopt any more children. This relationship should preclude that from ever happening, though he might force children on this girl and then groom them as well. This poor girl doesn't even know the damage this is all having on her. Your brother has convinced her of their love for his own gratifications and she knows no better. I don't know how you're all supposed to give your blessing to this. They should both seek some therapy. Oh gee, you wouldn't want to lose the love of the only father you've known, would you? He's sanitized this story to be as palatable as possible, and yet it's still diabolical. Exactly, like I'm sure nothing happened till the night of her 18th birthday. How convenient. Wife 42F cheated 3 years ago. I 44M told her we'd work it out, but I'm just angry, I can't. 3 years ago she had a drunk one-night stand with a random man she met while she was out with her friends. Apparently they used protection. I don't believe her because she was adamant about getting tested, but she came back clean anyway. She told me the morning after it happened and said sorry a lot. At the time I didn't know what to say or do, so I said that it was fine and we'd get past it. Not what I was thinking, but what I was actually thinking was bad, so I went to my happy place. In the following week we had a lot of good sex, but then for me it just died and has been that way since. She did want sex with me for a while afterwards and enjoyed it, but she stepped off because I wasn't interested. We went to marriage counseling for a few months at her request because apparently it would help us talk things through, and towards the end of it I think she felt like we were getting somewhere, but to me it was just making me angrier and angrier and angrier, so I refused to keep going after 5 months. Honestly, I'm just bottling up so much anger. Sometimes I look at her and want to rip her throat out, but at other times I see her and I just want to cry and shoot myself. On one hand I really need this to work because we have a daughter together, she's 10. I did a really bad thing and got a paternity test because I was betting to myself, and kind of hoping actually, that she weren't mine. I'm an idiot anyway because she has some of my features. I just really wanted her to not be mine so badly. She is mine obviously. But now there's the other hand. I fucking hate this place and I want to go home. If we divorced I wouldn't even be able to afford to go home anyway, so I'm trapped here. Obviously I'm not going to, but every day that passes makes offing myself seem less ridiculous. She's trying to stitch things back together as best she can, but it just serves to make me more angry. We don't really spend time together anymore unless it's in silence. I do love her, but I also hate her. I'm done bitching now. What should I do? Doesn't really feel like I'm able to do anything other than just put up with it though. You need to get into individual counseling. Now you are swinging between being violent and suicide. Neither is good. You probably need to move out for at least a few weeks to get some perspective to see if you can put this anger away. Then decide if you can actually forgive your wife and continue in your marriage, or if it would be better to divorce. This bottled up anger will kill you. I'm sure it probably doesn't help that you are somewhere other than home. Get the counseling. See if your work has an employee assistance program, EAP. If it does, call them. Take the time away to settle your thoughts. Go into a closed room and scream and cuss and yell and let the pent-up anger out. Your wife hurt you, but as a man we try to hold our feelings in. You have to in the FD up world, but sometimes you have to find release. Better to yell, scream and even cry than to let it build up until we can't deal with it anymore. Have you told her how bad it hurt you when she cheated? The safe number of suicidal thoughts to be having is 0. Get into therapy. It's been 3 years. You have made every effort to work past it, but you can't. That is completely okay and also completely understandable. It does, however, mean that staying in the marriage is seriously unhealthy and will emotionally damage you, your wife, and your daughter, because, even though she doesn't know why, I guarantee that she is picking up on the general tension and unhappiness in the family environment. Offing yourself is not an answer and would 100,000% fuck up your daughter permanently. Look into getting therapy for yourself. It won't fix the marriage because, quite honestly, the marriage is unfixable. What it will do is give you a space where you can be totally open and honest and get all your feelings out and work through them instead of bottling them up to convince other people that you're okay. That, in turn, should help you feel less angry and tangled up, which should help you see more clearly. To me, it seems like Hop didn't make every last effort in therapy at all. He says he is bottling up anger, and I believe he isn't sharing any of this with his wife at all. If he wants to leave and call the cheating the irreconcilable difference, then that is that, and just do it. But if you're incapable of being vulnerable and opening up and being honest about your pain and anger when your wife clearly and truly wants reconciliation, then I agree with Basilope. You need to commit to your own therapy and stop pretending in silence, because that's not good for anyone.